let's try this again. Okay, so screen share. All right. Hopefully everybody sees the screen now. All right. So, well, thanks once again for joining. And we are here on tasting number 22, Chile. Now, Chile is not just in South America, but it's in the southern part of South America. So it's, you know, in terms of where it goes in for its like from the equator, it's pretty far south in terms of, you know, much like New Zealand. Now the temperature here, like it's pretty temperate, though it has a lot of coastal moisture and coolness that kind of comes up through the Andes, or which is, oh, come on. So what happens is that all this moisture kind of comes up and hits right up against here. And because of that, Chile, like I said, is much more, it's got a lot more moisture. It's a lot cooler. And comparatively to Argentina, which that's where all of your, you know, good Malbecs come from. And Malbec takes a really long time to mature. And because of that, you kind of really need a lot of dry, hot weather. And that's exactly what these Andes mountains here do, is they provide a rain, what's called a rain shadow. So all this moisture here just gets blocked by our good old Andes, though that means Chile gets the whole brunt of that. Now, viticulture arrived in Chile from Spain during the 16th century, and it really, you know, started to take off. But what happened was that Iberia decided that, they're starting to really hit on our production. You know, people aren't buying our stuff; they're buying stuff from South America. So all of a sudden, a bunch of restrictive laws from Spain started to develop, and now all of a sudden, Chile, Argentina, all these places had all this wine and wine grapes, but they couldn't export it. So what's Chile do? Is it gets turned for the longest time into Pisco, Pisco, and it's the South American version of brandy. Usually it's clear; they don't age it too much. And if you've never had one, especially at like a Peruvian restaurant, they'll have them available. Pisco sours are delicious. Now, as South American countries they achieved autonomy in the 1800s, and a bunch of European immigrants revived wine production with vine cuttings from their different homelands. And because of that, Chile now is like the 7th largest wine producer, and comparatively to where it used to be a lot of like Spanish varietals, once all the production, you know, kind of got cut down to minimal amounts, most of those European people that were coming in were French. And so they brought a lot of French varietals. Means that's your Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Carmenere, and Cab Franc. An interesting note about Chile is that, much like the Australians, they never got phylloxera. And also, just like the Australians, they have a very strict quarantine set of laws for agricultural imports. So, you know, which was great because, well, after it got all these vines got wiped out in France and Spain, a lot of those cuttings, you know, from healthy plants in Chile and America, got sent back over along with the the rootstock that was phylloxera resistant. Now, the largest regions, as you can see here, this is all the different wine regions of Chile, from all the way up north in Atacama, down to the Central Valley to the southern regions. Now, the Central Valley, or Valle Central, that's where the majority of wine is produced. It produces like over 80% of the wine for the country. And within Valle Central is there's two notable sub-regions within here. And they're kind of clumps, not just the sub-regions. So the first one is this Casablanca and San Antonio area. So actually, let me zoom in a little bit. So yeah, Casablanca and San Antonio. Now, they're colored a little bit differently. And the reason why is that they are much cooler climate than the rest of Central Valley. And that, remember how we were talking about that cool breeze kind of coming in? So for them, because they're at about 55 feet above sea level, all of this coming in is going to bring this like, really cold Pacific air, a lot of moisture that really kind of comes out as fog and mist. And it's actually more akin to Napa and Bordeaux than the rest of the Central Valley. And as typical of colder climates, this is where you're going to find that white grapes succeed best. So whenever you usually see a Chilean Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc, and also the Pinot Noir, they're going to be grown in those two areas, along with the Aconcagua Valley. The second place where you want to kind of concentrate on is just kind of south of that here in the Maipo Valley. So it's much farther in from the coast. Now, and the thing is though, is that while it's inland, you would think that, okay, well, it's going to be a little bit warmer. Yes, it is. But comparatively to the ones that are the regions that were north, where they were at 50 feet sea level, 50 feet above sea level, these are more like 16 or 1,300 to 2,600 feet above sea level. So quite a bit higher in their elevation. And they'll some of those places, as you can see, go right up against the Andes. Now, you would think that, again, because of the increased altitude, that this would make, for a much cooler area, but you would be kind of incorrect, because what this map doesn't show is that there's another set of mountain ranges right along here, but it only goes up to about here. And that's called the coastal range. Now, let me see if I think I've got a picture of that. You can see a little bit easier here. And so this line here is this, it's still kind of green, but this is pretty high elevation. And what that's doing is it's blocking a lot of that cold air that's coming in here. It's kind of getting diverted, and then it essentially gets deposited right up here. And that's essentially that San Antonio and Casablanca area. And what that does, though, is that, this little valley here, because you've got the Andes here, and then you've got this mountain range. So you've got this pocket that's right down the middle, and that's the Central Valley. And what that makes for is a really dry and warm climate that your red grapes are going to thrive in. And Chile, where this is, what's grown here is your Cabernet, Carmenere, and Merlot. Now, a funny story about Carmenere. It was brought to Chile in the 1800s, but it was thought to actually have been Merlot. They thought they were growing Merlot all through the 1800s and 1900s, until it was genetically tested in 1994, because there was some head scratching as to why these Merlot grapes in Chile were taking just so darn long to ripen. And it turns out about half of the Merlot vines here in Chile were actually Carmenere. And it officially became a distinct varietal for Chile. And it's probably one of the only places you might be able to find a little bit of in France, but there it's more of a blending grape. But they said, if you want to bottle and export it as just a single Carmenere, that was done in 1998. And like I said, they're pretty much one of the only countries that does. Now, and lastly, we're going to talk about pyrazines. So that was kind of like the key thing that I was saying that we need to kind of focus in on. Now pyrazines are this aroma compound that are found in higher proportions in Bordeaux grapes. And it's responsible for that green flavor that's commonly tasted, things like grass, jalapeno pepper, and bell pepper. Now, and the less leafy the vines, the less the pyrazines, and a lot of these Bordeaux grapes all have these pretty giant leaves to them. Now, the thing about these Bordeaux grapes, and it's probably why they all kind of have a lot of this signature sameness for pyrazines, is that if you see this chart of how the different varietals came to be, Chile, these are all pretty incestuous Bordeaux varietals that are in Chile. Where you have like the grandpappy Cab Franc, and then yes, you have your Sauv Blanc, but then you've got Cabernet Sauv and Carmenere, and then a little bit of Merlot that's over here that also comes from the Cab Franc. So yeah, and all of these, because of where they all kind of come from, root wise, yeah, Cab Franc also has a bit of that green flavor to it normally. So on that note, I am done with my lecture. Does anyone have any questions before we move on to our tastings? No? Oh, but I do see a comment on Pisco Sour. Yum. All right. So we are going to start on our Sauvignon Blanc. For most of us, it is our Porta Sauvignon Blanc. Now, I was doing a little bit of testing before, and I think I apologize to anyone that I had kind of admonished for holding their glass up. It's actually, as I was kind of going through these, it's actually not a bad way to look for the color range comparatively to, usually you want to look down for the rim variation. But if for some reason it's the color just isn't coming out from what you're holding it against, if you are being able to hold it up to a white light, you might be able to get a much more true color from it. And so for me, let's say the color on this is pretty straw yellow. Unless someone has a much older Sauvignon Blanc where it's starting to brown. Yep. All right. Well, let's give this thing a swirl. And let's check our ABV.
Of course.
I'd say those are coming down fairly quickly. So I'd probably put this at maybe like 12.5, 13 at most.
12.5.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So let's give this thing yet another swirl, and this time we're going to stick it under our nose and give it a sniff. Ooh.
You're on the best of this, right?
I'm getting some signals.
All right. So let's have everyone's thoughts on what they're smelling.
I smell wine. I'm gonna mute you because people are coming. Okay. I just muted you.
We're getting some citrus, I smell like peaches or some sort of stone fruit, and maybe some chalk.
Chalk. Okay. A little bit of minerality in there.
Hello, family.
Yeah. Me, I'm getting green apple and like it's some kind of herb. It's green, but it's not grass. It's like
Right. I have a little bit of green too, and I noticed a pretty strong citrus. Mine is also 13.5.
oh, because you got yours was that
EQ.
coastal.
Yes, the coastal, right?
Coastal EQ.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So Richard, do you usually stop recording during this, or is it after?
No, it's after the tasting is done,
Okay,
and then it'll be social hour.
sure.
Yeah.
Here was the Casablanca Valley. Is that on there?
I mean, the Porta just says Central Valley.
Okay.
Do you have a different bottle?
Yeah, I couldn't. We don't have Total Wine in Chicago, so.
No, that's fine. And much like Janet, she's got
Right.
a totally different one herself.
Benny's. I got the EQ. How about you?
Casa del Bosque.
Okay. I mean, as I said, they're all going to be from like one of two sub-regions within Central Valley. At least,
Yeah.
Maybe does it say along with the valley, maybe Central Valley?
No, and that's, let's see here. From the breezes of the Pacific Ocean to the cool coastal mountain range. So it's definitely on the coast.
Okay. Yeah. So it's got to be in that San Antonio, Casablanca area.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It says Casablanca Valley.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Mine too.
Yeah. I mean, so the more I kept smelling this, the more that I was getting like that's almost, I want to say like a slight bit of eucalyptus, but it smells like rosemary.
So a little citrus.
Yeah, a little rosemary, right?
All right. I think it's time for our first taste. So cheers. Well, that is definitely different than the aroma.
I was expecting something a little smoother. This is really, to me, it's sharp. Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty acidic. That's also thin. There's not much of a mouth feel. Now, for me, well, I guess before I start giving my notes, what's everyone getting on the palate for this?
For me, it seems like a lot of mineral.
Mineral, okay. So that mineral is really coming out. That's interesting.
Almost a light honey.
Honey, okay. Me, I'm getting like straight grapefruit.
Yeah, that's about right.
I mean, it's citrus, but it's like kind of bittery, pithy
You're right.
citrus.
It is pretty bitter, actually, kind of surprising. It smelled very refreshing, but it's a little it's sharp, you know.
Yeah, well, but you know that's, and me, I actually, you know, I love, you know, things with, especially ones with high pyrazine levels to them, where you have kind of this kind of grapefruit grass, you know, as you move towards, you know, into heavy pyrazines, it goes grapefruit, and then, you know, like I said, more grass, jalapeno pepper, and this is kind of like just on that border, but I don't know, like I said, I like that, so to me, I'm digging this, but I think it's time to test out a couple of nibbles and see what goes well with it. And if anyone finds any really good pairings, definitely shout them out.
So I made a strawberry or Chilean strawberry kuchen,
Okay.
like a cake, custard cake, and
Uh-huh.
it is really good with that.
Oh. What kind of flavors come out?
I'm getting a lot of custard in the dish, but this kind of softens the acidity,
Okay.
and so it brings the fruit forward.
Yeah, well, I would guess that cream custard would, you know, kind of like lay down like a protective layer on your tongue, you know, so that you're not getting that kind of bite.
You were in the area.
I unfortunately couldn't find empanadas, so I had to go with you know, some chicken spring rolls that had some ginger and some other herbs in it that I'm hoping is going to go well with this.
I made empanadas.
We found ours in the oven.
We had ceviche, and actually, it's going really well.
It's going well with what, Corey?
The ceviche that I got.
Oh, ceviche, yeah. Does it really bring out, like, from the lime that's in the ceviche, does it kind of really bring out the citrus?
That, and also, there's a little bit of jalapeno in the ceviche, so it's kind of like bringing out that heat.
Oh, neat. Even better. Now I'm
Those are pretty good with arugula salad.
yeah. I mean that's, I don't know. I'm starting to think that arugula is kind of like the Swiss Army knife of just whites.
I agree.
Like no matter what white it is, it seems to be going pretty well with it.
We got some pepperoni and green chili pizza, so we're trying that now.
Hello.
Green chili, you said?
Yes.
Green chili.
Oh, sounds awesome.
The green Billy.
Mm. Okay, I'm really hoping that this is going to go well with all of them, but at Trader Joe's they have chimichurri rice, and that parsley, that green parsley is making this thing pop.
I like the way the wine tastes different with the salad.
Let's sip of it first.
How's everyone's glasses looking? All right.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that.
It's really good with the custard.
I can see how it would be.
You want to
Let's go
No,
for a shot.
I will.
Huh?
No, not at all. The salad is delicious.
All right, let's head on over to our Pinot Noir. So for us that have the same one, our Carmen Gran Reserva Pinot Noir. Now this one, I'm already, because remember how I had said that it was all those Bordeaux varietals that are going to have heavy, at least heavier than normal pyrazines. Pinot Noir, that's more on the Burgundian and Rhone route. So I'm not expecting as much on the on those kind of green herbal notes from here, but we'll see. So as we're looking at this, okay. I mean, to me, this is just, a nice light red. And with it being a 2019, I'm definitely not seeing any rim variation. So at least it's not, cooked prematurely. Even though, well, actually, this one had an okay cork. It was the Carmenere and the Cab Sauv that had sucky corks. So I'm hoping that didn't affect the quality. Let's see. Let's give this thing a swirl and check those legs. And they're coming down, kind of medium. I put this at like, I don't know, 13.5.
On the dot.
Which one?
13.5.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's give this thing a swirl and let's see what we get on the nose. Oof. Yeah, that still smells like Pinot. As everyone knows, I'm not as much of a fan, but I will always be open to my mind being changed. So what's everyone smelling on this?
Yeah, I was gonna say we get a lot of alcohol, but that's.
Like me, I'm getting like dusty raspberries.
Yeah. I was going to say herbal, but that description matches, which is unusual for a Pinot.
I'm getting plum and
But there's something sweet in there, and it's not from the berries. It almost smells like pipe tobacco.
Maybe that's what we mean by the alcohol-y.
Leather, maybe? It's leathery.
Yeah. All right. So let's see if our palates match our nose. So cheers.
We love you so much. I'm glad. We really do. You're special in all of our hearts.
Mm.
Make it funny.
Okay, that is.
Yours is really, really light.
It is, but I don't know. To me, it's still evolving in my mouth. Like, I think this might be the Pinot that has changed Richard's mind.
Ooh.
That they're all just trash because
You don't have the same as they do, right?
No.
We have a different one, so this one is not changing our mind.
Okay. Yeah.
These empanadas turned out pretty good.
Katrina and Damien, which one did you get?
Go grab it.
Same Casa de Bosque. Del Bosque.
Okay, I got Max, both the Carmenere and the Pinot.
Did you
They were
end up
recommended.
or no?
I don't
Yes.
like.
Oh, good.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yay.
Maybe arugula and the blue cheese.
So what's everyone getting on their
Here's our version.
okay.
Ours is just very, 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 very light.
Mine is actually pretty acidic as well. It seems to be, but it's the Max, and it was what the people at Binny's recommended.
Doesn't like this cake because I love it.
You know, they don't have a huge selection though.
That's a lot.
So for me,
About how many would you say they had of the Pinot Noir?
Oh, like, in fact, this one isn't even the right vintage. I don't think it's 2018. They didn't have any 2019, but
You're off. That's fine.
yeah, right. Well, it can vary.
Like 4 to 5 years, then you start to really notice
Oh, okay.
taste change. But like I said, much like the whites, your Pinot Noir probably isn't growing very well in like super hot areas. So, I mean, we're probably looking at roughly the same area that the Sauv Blancs are grown in.
Right.
for
So
me,
no matter, I mean, so it's not like it's going to,
This is the north. It's in the Akanchua region. Isn't that in the north?
Ochua?
Yeah. How about you?
Okay. Ours is out of Valle Casablanca again.
Okay.
I'm used to Pinot Noirs being really juicy, and
Agreed.
this is like the opposite. I don't know what to call that.
this is more like an Oregonian, or should I say an Oregonian's more juicy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like a juicy cranberry with a lot of dirt.
Got a really good flavor to it.
It's that's what I don't like about Oregon Pinots, is that it just tastes like loamy, moldy dirt.
What?
Each your own. You are welcome to your opinion.
It did not help.
You're welcome to your opinion, as wrong as it may be.
That's the good thing about wine, is you drink what you like.
Exactly.
You like the chimichurri?
How much spice did you put in that
A
one?
lot.
Is it just pepper flakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrote down my notes on the
I
wrong.
mean, I've heard on that one.
Oh.
Not chimichurri sauce.
Wow. Richard found a chimichurri rice at Trader Joe's.
Ah. So I made homemade chimichurri. It has a real kick. They call it for like a lot of red pepper flakes.
I did it the same actually.
Did you do the food and wine recipe? Because that's the one I did. And we're putting it on roasted vegetables.
I did it's from La Creme and de la Creme.
Okay.
I'm putting it both on steak and chips.
Bacon chips?
No, steak and something.
Steak and tortilla chips.
Ah. We'll do steak tomorrow night. I did a big quadruple recipe, so I figure we'll have chimichurri several times this week.
I like the idea of bacon chips.
We also did a kind of shrimp ceviche-ish recipe, so.
You know,
Ours is the shrimp, crab, and fish.
Yes, I did shrimp and avocado and tomato and cilantro and a white wine vinegar. And we'll see how my empanadas, they're the ugliest empanadas ever. That's why I was not here. I tried to make them. They're so ugly. They're so ugly.
never met. I mean, you know, unless you're putting it up on Instagram, all that matters is the taste.
Well, we'll see how that is, but they're so ugly.
You know, that's half the food that I make is delicious, but it looks like, you know, like cat vomit.
Yeah, well, they didn't stay together, so they kept breaking through, and I'm like, oh, that's just not working at all. But anyway.
Yeah, the lemongrass and ginger that's in these chicken spring rolls. For some reason, that's what's popping in this. And I'm wondering if it's that it's interacting with like an underlayer of spice that's in this.
I like the ceviche with the Pinot Noir, actually. That's what I like the best with it so far. Which is interesting because there's red wine vinegar in the chimichurri. So I would have thought that would have interacted more, but it's so spicy that I think that's taking over.
Yeah, it kind of wakes up the chimichurri, but it loses the wine.
That's why I'm chimichurri. I'm expecting it to go really well with the last two.
That's what I figured. So I figured we'd have leftovers, which is why I figured I'd make a lot, and we'll have steak tomorrow. And
All right. I see at least one empty glass being held up.
the shrimp is really good. Good job for that. Is that good chimichurri? It's good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's delicious.
I also had to play with the garlic because we have a farm share, and so we got fresh green garlic. So I'm like,
Nice.
I don't know how much this is. I'll just chop it up. We'll see.
Okay. All right. How's everyone's glasses?
Check on the empanadas. We'll see.
Oh, guess we'll wait for Katrina before we move on to the Carmenere.
I gotta open it up here.
All right. Well, guess we'll wait for Damien as well.
He's just opening it.
Oh, all right. Well, then let's go ahead and go through wine number 3, our Carmenere, Chateau Los Boldos. Now, they keep having like other little names. I'm going to guess they're just like, much like when you think of like North Coast, you know, for California, and that's the area like Central Valley, and then within that is like Sonoma, Napa. I'm going to guess that like for this one's from the Cachapole Valley, but I'm going to guess that it's in that Maipo region. All right.
Yeah, this one actually says Central Valley.
So as I'm looking at the color on this, so this is kind of a,
Ooh, I get good legs.
this is just a nice kind of, I don't say dark ruby, but it's you know, on that kind of reddish to ruby color range. And we'll give it a bit of a swirl. So let's see. Now this is definitely warm, because as I'm swirling it to look at the legs, I can definitely notice like a tinting on the sides. So this is definitely a warm grown grape, and those are coming down thick.
Yep.
So this has got to be,
Ooh, yummy.
let's see. Pull down again, add. And it's definitely over 13.5. I'd probably put it more like 14. It's not 14.5, but it's probably, yeah, probably around 14.
14 it is.
Huh.
Oh, we're at 13.7.
13.7. Wow.
Look at your lightweight wine.
We're
All right.
home.
All right. Another spin for our sniff.
Nice play. That's a good sound to add to your cast.
So I get herbaceous, so there's a lot of herb.
Yeah.
I smell a lot of like pepper, like green pepper. Of
Yeah.
That was kind of what I'm smelling, the herby.
And tobacco.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that kind of like peppercorns.
Yeah.
With a big dark fruit. Like,
Yeah, that was my first smell was dark fruit, but then peppercorn is what's.
it's like, and as hot as this smells like, it's like stewed plum.
Hmm.
All right. Well, let's give this thing a taste. I mean, I know I'm going to love this, because I mean, I love all Carmenere. So
I do
cheers.
too. It's one of my favorites.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Mm.
Sure. Yeah, that's really yummy.
Mm-hmm.
That's much better than it smells.
I'm getting a lot of mineral.
Mineral. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's
Like kind of like wet stone.
Yes.
Because usually with a red, you won't get like the sharp, like chalky powdered granite that you would in a white. And so it's more like a wet slate.
Yeah. Yep. Like licking slate. That's a good way to think of it.
It's very even all the way through in terms of mouthfeel.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got a nice like tannin, acid balance to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the strongest wet slate I've ever tasted.
Yeah, just like when I used to lick mine, at the end of my figures. Like I was a student.
Yeah, there's definitely that green pepper and like almost a bit of like almost like chocolate.
Finishes up with a big berry feel though.
He's getting berry at the end.
What kind of berry?
yeah, I'm getting a berry finish too. I would call that blackberry.
I'm tasting like plums,
Plum.
Plum.
like a little plum flavor.
I was gonna say blackberry and a dark cherry. But it almost, and again, I saw some today, but chocolate, dark chocolate covered cherries, dark cherries.
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely that kind of like dark. Yeah, it's still kind of in that stewed category of fruit, where and that in itself, just that how the fruit tastes is kind of like a key tell to just how and where it's grown. Because it's the same thing with a lot of hot areas that you get wine from. If it's been really hot, it's going to taste like a kind of a cooked a cooked fruit instead of a fresh fruit or a tart fruit. And this definitely tastes cooked. Which isn't a bad thing, just it allows you to identify a little bit closer to what and where. All right, now for the tastings, and this one I can't wait for that chimichurri.
It is surprisingly mellow for the smell.
It's mellow for what?
When you initially smell it before you actually taste it, I thought it was going to be a lot more full-bodied, but now it's like surprisingly mellow.
Yeah. Oh man, does that parsley pop? Yeah. Yep. As much as chimichurri is more of an Argentinian thing, it's close enough in area that it lends pretty well to a flavor match.
It's the ugliest ever. They're so ugly.
What? No, those look like half moon empanadas. You did fine.
I know, they're so ugly though. They're so ugly.
Katrina with the humble brag.
No, they're so ugly.
They're
so ugly.
Great.
A long time ago, let me put it that way. I was on business in Santiago, and we traveled to the Maipo Valley and stopped at a place that boasted a 1 kilo empanada.
Wow.
I know, and I have
an eating challenge.
I have a picture somewhere of my colleague eating it.
It's kind of like Burrito King with burritos as big as your head, or the football-sized burritos.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Isn't there one on like 59 by you?
What, a Burrito King?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. It seems that I would have noticed that, but there was there's another burrito place that's by the mall on 59.
Oh yeah, that one down there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you? Is there a Binny's on 59, or are you doing the one downtown?
Downtown. Crest Creek.
Okay. Yeah.
It's bigger now, remember?
Because everything in Naperville is bigger.
I know, exactly.
Yeah. Goat cheese and Carmenere, not a good pairing.
Okay. Wouldn't have thought to put them together. But,
Manchego was good.
oh, I haven't gotten Manchego
Of
very
the
late.
3 we had, it was good. I got like Emmentaler and Gruyere. Those were all right, but the Manchego was good.
I mean, when isn't Manchego good? You know, much like arugula, you know, matches with every white. Manchego just matches with every wine. At least in my opinion, it really is, you know, like a perfect cheese pairing, you know, for no matter what wine you have. You know, if someone says, hey, you know, I've got a wine party, you know, bring some food, but they're not going to tell you what wine's there. You bring Manchego, you're going to be a hit.
Cow. Now we're muted. There's some 70. We're now muted.
No, we're not muted.
We're
The
muted.
chocolate, huh?
Yeah, 70% cacao is really good with this wine. The
Okay.
Carmenere.
Now, 'cause like I said, I had noticed some like chocolate notes, you know, just on the, you know, both in the smell and the you know, on the palate. Is that what really kind of comes out with the chocolate? You know, I mean, does it just make it
Really smooths it out.
Sweetens the wine a little bit.
okay? So it's more of the just the butter fat
Yeah.
that's just kind of making it, you know,
Again,
even smoother than normal.
Yeah, it balances the acid, I think.
Grandma got up before I did, so he got me caca. It's a funny conversation we had.
I bet.
Yeah, I can't have enough, you know, much as the Trader Joe's stout and steak pie, you know, has been kind of like my go-to for reds. Holy crap, this chimichurri rice is excellent, and I bet that, I mean, it's going to probably be even better for like an Argentinian, you know, set of wines.
The empanada tastes good. It just
Yeah?
looks weird.
So how, I mean, your chimichurri, you actually used like parsley for it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really kind of bringing that out?
I wouldn't say so.
No?
But it balances the chimichurri out really well.
Okay.
So they're married really well with the wine.
It definitely spoils the wine.
The chimichurri's got a lot of the pepper flakes in it,
Mhm.
so it doesn't bring out the parsley on it very much.
Ah, okay.
We were at a Honduran restaurant. We were in Florida last week, and that didn't have any red pepper. It was very bland,
Mhm.
with lots of parsley. I would assume it would have brought out the parsley.
Good. This is good too. I like this too. They're definitely different.
All right. So how's everyone's looks like I've got a couple of glasses still somewhat full. Yeah, I had just suggested to someone, someone in Smart Bar was asking, for a red wine recommendation for.
Yeah, how'd that turn out? I saw the beginning of the post. I didn't dig into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, she gave what her flavor profile was, which was, non-fruity cabs, or just reds. And so, it's like, well, you want non-fruity, so you're already looking at old world cabs. So you're looking at left bank, Omedoc Bordeaux blends.
Right.
And but I also recommended, and it was in like some sub thread where she had also mentioned that he likes things that are kind of like weird and new, which I didn't get to until after I had posted. But I'd also said that if you're kind of wine fatigued from just drinking cabs and such, that try a Chilean Carmenere to really get something like funky and new.
Yep. I have a bug. It's all good now.
But and that's the thing. Whenever someone, and it's what I try to teach here, is that when you're looking for recommendations, I'm never going to give you, well, except for if something really stands out. I'm going to give you, if you say I want, I like this kind of fruit, and I like these kind of herbs, these whatever the flavor profile is. And then I'm going to tell you, well, here's the region to get it from. Now, now you set your price point, and you're going to find that flavor with different levels of quality. And, because when they were asking that, everyone's like posting, like very specific things. And I'm like, that's, because they wanted something special for like, I don't know, I think it was like an anniversary or something. I was like, I'm not going to guess on what your price point is, because I mean, yeah, I could offer a $20 bottle of wine, or I could offer a $90 bottle of wine, but I can find both for with the same flavor profile. It's just going to be how exotic or how well finished it's going to be.
Right.
All right, how's everyone's glasses? We ready for the next? All right. So we are on to our Chilean Cab Sauv. For those of us that have my bottle, it is the Montes Alpha.
Yay, we do.
Oh, that's right. This is the one that we actually matched. And I splurged and went got the non-alpha too.
Ah.
I got the cheaper version too.
All right, so go ahead and look at the color on this. This has almost the same kind of coloring as the Carmenere. That kind of somewhere right between red and ruby, where it hasn't. It's just got that slight bit of purpleness to it.
This one, to me, it looks like generally about the same color, but it's got a darker center and a more watery rim.
I would agree with that.
You said more of like a clear watery rim?
Yeah, compared to the Carmenere. This, like, if you average it out, it's the same color as the Carmenere.
Yeah, but it's got like a little bit of a different variation to it. Yeah, and that clear edge to it might also, I mean, I'll see when we kind of spin it, but I'm almost kind of guessing that this is going to have a bit higher ABV. But let's see. Those are, yeah, those are filling in pretty thick.
Okay. This is higher.
This is like, this is like 15. This is super hot. It's staining. It's thick, like 14.5, 15.
14.5.
Wow.
It's interesting how it legs up on this. Yeah, definitely legs differently.
Because they'll be like the initial tiering, and then there's going to be like this, like the secondary ones, and those are the kind of the ones.
I know. I had a double layer. It was pretty cool.
And those are the ones you really want to count, because the first ones, that's going to be just your moisture and the wine, but that secondary pull is where those alcohol tiers are.
It's interesting how it goes down after you do it a few times.
All right, so let's give this thing another spin, and then we'll give it a sniff.
Definitely get tobacco.
Okay. I'm getting, it's like sour cherry.
It smells kind of buttery to me.
Yeah, it's got this creaminess to it. It's almost like milk chocolate. I guess it's not dark chocolate. It's got this.
Cardinal up in Willow Tree.
I was almost going to say eucalyptus, kind of mentholy.
Let's see.
Yeah, I could see menthol also.
I'm not really, like, how long ago did you open it?
Just now?
Like more than an hour ago.
Okay. Because I was reading a couple of reviews on this, and they said that it opens like a traditional cab, but if any of you have an aerator.
We just used an aerator.
Oh, okay. So you're probably getting what I'm missing.
And they said they opened theirs an hour ago, so we've got the.
Yeah, ours is about 50 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to
30 seconds.
Let's see here. So I'm going to.
So there's at least looks like
now.
There's no back here.
Let's go ahead and throw it through the aerator. There's some ASMR for you.
Yeah, I know. Gotta love that sound.
That's the sound of delicious.
It is.
All right. Let's see how the Venturi did. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's like I'm getting that little bit of like that minty eucalyptus.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's almost like it's not green. It's like this like a spicy like red pepper.
I can see that.
I want to say in Chile it's called ají. Yeah. Wow. That I'm glad I read that review that said, either decant or aerate this thing, because that evolves drastically.
Sorry, we were cheating.
All right. Well, let's give it our taste for tonight. Last taste of the night. So cheers.
What was cheating?
The aerator.
An aerator.
Thank you for the clarification.
Mm. That is a tasty cab.
It's it's light with that mineral of the tannins.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I'm definitely getting, you know, much more red fruit.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it to me, I don't get the that kind of minty eucalyptus that we got on the nose. But and I'm still getting just this weird kind of, I wouldn't call it like a red bell pepper, you know, not that kind of sweetness, but I don't even know how. I'm trying to think of like what kind of pepper this would be like, because it's this weird kind of somewhere between like yellow and red flavor.
I'd also say it's a very smooth mouthfeel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still really balanced on
smooth, round mouthfeel, more so even than the last one that I said was smooth mouthfeel, but like the whole way through.
There's definitely a bit of that. Yeah, there's a chunk of chocolate in there. It's more on the kind of the bitter side, but
It's interesting. I find it very suggestive. Like everything, as soon as I look at some food, I'm like, that's in it. Oh wait, no, that's in it. Oh wait, that's in it.
That's the perfect way to look at it, is that, you know, because a lot of the French and Italians, they look at wine like, you know, like an additional spice. Yeah, that is something to accentuate your food. And, you know, just as you wouldn't put, you know, cinnamon in, like, I don't know, you know, a steak. Yeah, you kind of realize what you're going for in terms of like your flavor outcome. And wine, you know, it's just another of those, you know, things that you are kind of spicing up your food consumption with.
Get kind of almost even a porty kind of end to it, almost like a port at the very end.
Well, I mean, considering this thing was, what was this? Was this the 14.5? That it's, you know, it's another pretty hot, you know, kind of baked thing. And so, yeah, I can see where it's got that
like kind of like at the end, like you have with a port.
Yeah.
So I didn't end up with a concerto.
What's interesting though, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'm waiting to try it with the chimichurri to see if, you know, that green note that I don't know if it's there or not, but
or a little balance. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
But you know, that's where food is kind of like the truth teller. You know, it's going to root out, you know, things that are in the wine versus things that are not in the wine.
All right.
Well, I mean, chimichurri rice still made it really good, but the parsley didn't pop. So there isn't a lot of green in this, which, again, as we're looking at a really, really hot Cab Sauv, and that where your pyrazines are is much more, if it would have been like 13.5, if not 13, where it would have been kind of like a cooler climate, I would have expected a lot more of those kind of green notes to come through. But yeah, with this thing being as hot as it is, I'm not getting quite the chimichurri joy that I was with the Carmenere.
Rob says it's really good with the empanada, the Pinot.
Okay. What's in the empanada?
Is there something else that's crunchy in there?
It's ground beef, some paprika, cumin, chili powder, raisins, black olives, and a hard-boiled egg.
So what kind of comes to the forefront when you have it with it?
The cilantro stalks.
Fruit.
No.
Fruit forward.
The fruit, he said.
The fruit? Okay. Which again, kind of, so is maybe that raisin that, it being kind of like the trigger for, again, this being much more of like that stewed fruit, dark fruit flavor. Yeah. Okay.
That's the kind of empanada I made.
You had the kitchen sink in yours too?
Well, I put in the raisins and the beef, and then what did I put in? Smoked paprika and cumin. And
so what kind of comes to the forefront for you?
I don't know what you had the bite. I haven't had it yet.
Beef really comes out.
The beef.
Okay.
It does just liven up the flavors.
Really
Yeah,
hoping.
it emphasizes the beef.
Okay. Which, that's pretty typical for a cab.
Well, he asked me when we had it with the Carmenere if it had pulled pork in it. I don't think he would ask me with this one if it had pulled pork in it. So that's interesting. I don't think he would have asked me. You'd have been like, oh yeah, that's beef.
Well,
That's interesting. In the chimichurri, this is the only one I've been able to taste the red wine vinegar.
Really?
There's
Okay.
quite a bit of in the chimichurri, but this is the first time I've tasted it.
Well, of the foods that I have, actually the winner for this one, which is surprisingly, because it was almost like an exact opposite from the Carmenere, is the goat cheese.
Oh,
Ah,
The goat cheese really goes well with this one.
yeah. I can see it though. It balances out all the very strong flavors in it.
Yeah. All right. Well, does anyone have any closing thoughts before I stop the recording? I do have, I'll say housekeeping, but does anyone have any ideas for the next one in 3 weeks? I have an idea for the one in 6 weeks, which I think is going to be super fun. Super fun.
Now we want to know what that one is.
Okay, so I'll give you that one, and then we can kind of plan for the third. So I found a place that we can all like put in a group order in, and what they do is they will ship out a blind tasting.
Whoa!
So we're finally going to be able to put like this deductive process that I've been drilling into your heads, with these tastings every single time. We're finally going to get to put that to the test.
Awesome.
So yeah, and so because if you just order from the site, they said that their blind tastings are pretty kind of random. But they sent me a form that if I put a bunch of people on it with their addresses and everything, then we can have them. We can have like one big batch get sent out to everybody.
Very cool.
So whoever all is interested in that, I'll so whenever I create the next event in 3 weeks, I'll also create the one for 6 weeks, and whoever all jumps in on that one, I'll go ahead and give that like a 2 to 3 week window of everyone that wants to sign up for that. Then I'll put in the order, and yeah, in 6 weeks we will do a blind taste and see just see how everyone's palates and noses are. Now what I'll also do is I'll be sending everyone. It's not a cheat sheet, but it is it's actually one from a game that I have that you take to houses and whatnot, but it's essentially a blind tasting board game, and it has sheets on there about and it lists all the different like wines like Chardonnay, Pinot.
Does it have something like this? That's awfully nice.
No, well, it's a lot easier than that. What it'll do is it'll say like Chardonnay, and then it'll say like lime and lemon, citrus, yeast, and like it'll list all these different things to it, like what it looks like, what the typical flavors are for it, and like how it's supposed to kind of have like the same that mouthfeel, and so you should be able to, as long as you're being able to suss out like what you're smelling, what you're tasting, what you're seeing, and then put those onto this list, you should be able to find that yes, this is the wine that we're drinking. If there's a lot of like, if it tastes like plum with a lot of black pepper, we know that we're probably drinking an Argentinian Malbec. Or again, if we're looking for those that quintessential like graphite and cedar, maybe we're drinking a Bordeaux, things like that.